Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butz, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by the Sexton Single Malt Irish Whiskey, the best-selling Irish single malt in the U.S. The Sexton is an unexpected modern malt for the everyman, rich in hue, approachable in taste, and memorable in character. Learn more at thesexton.com.
I'm HRN's Executive Director, Katie Mosman-Wadler, with a preview of this week's episode of Meat and Three, HRN's weekly food news roundup. This week, we're celebrating Pride. We speak to the bakers who created a custom wedding cake for Charlie Craig and David Mullins, the couple behind the Masterpiece Cake Shop Supreme Court case.
We felt that what happened to Charlie and David was an absolute injustice.
Kat Johnson addresses the controversy surrounding Antoni Porowski, Queer Eye's food and wine expert.
Many viewers thought these recipes were unsophisticated.
And finally, Hannah Forden speaks with nutrition educator Leah Kurtz about the relationship between veganism and queer identity.
It's an interesting way in which food can challenge invisible value systems even greater than sexuality does.
Listen to Meat and Three, that's MEAT+THREE this week, and celebrate Pride with HRN. Available on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and your favorite listening apps.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I'm one half your host, Darren Bresnitz.
I'm the other half your host, Greg Bresnitz. We're coming to you live from Los Angeles.
So happy you're here. So excited that Josephine could see you.
It's really good. I brought her some New York pizza for her to chow down on.
Awesome. She will be adding that to the stuff she picked up at the Hollywood Farmers Market this week.
Peaches, watermelons.
Plums, those are in season. She's got a really good eye for that produce.
No hand motor skills yet, though.
No.
It's more just like a point and cry.
But you can see the way she haggles with the vendors. It's like she's been there for years. We are super excited sitting down with festival director over at Golden Voice, Nick Adler, coming back to the tunes to talk about this year's Arroyo Seco in its second year, and then to do a recap of Eat, Drink, Vegan, which was kicking off its 9th year just a couple weeks ago. Nick talks about the bands that are playing, his goals to make not just the best food festival, but the best festival, period. And not to make it just, again, a great vegan festival, but to make it the best food festival, period. It's awesome, a lot of fun, some tips, some insights, little teases for next week's festival.
Then we dip into our archives with one of our favorite musical acts, Psychic Twin, to play you some songs from Brooklyn.
Awesome. Well, sit back, get ready, enjoy, have a beer, eat some pizza.
Watch some World Cup.
Watch some World Cup. It's Snacky Tunes here on heritageradionetwork.org.
We talk about food. We talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse. Snacky Tunes.
If we want this, we gotta find out. Like a mountain, we have to break down. On the other hand, we can hide out, but I can feel our time running down. And in my mind, I can feel it, all the twists and turns.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I'm one half your host, Darren Bresnitz. We are so happy to have Nick Adler back to the show, festival director at Golden Voice and one of the founder creators of Eat Drink Vegan and Arroyo Seco. Welcome back to the Tunes.
I feel like I'm at home.
I know, man. It feels great. I got my coffee, I got my LaCroix.
Good.
I feel like I'm settling in. Was getting very jealous of the outdoor workspace.
I don't know if I don't find myself there very often, but it looks great.
It looks great. And I had the same thought. I feel like that's one of those things where, like every January 1st, someone goes, I'm going to make a resolution to sit outside and work more. And then...
I usually notice the gym and that area are busy at the same time.
Yeah.
So, right before summer, right after New Year's.
Oh my God. Nothing like trying to find parking on January 2nd, you know? God, this is my year. So, congratulations. 9th year of Eat Drink Vegan in the bag.
Yep.
In the vegan bag.
Mm-hmm.
How was it this year? How'd it go?
This year was a growth year for us. And I don't know if you know that when planning. I mean, you kind of start to put things together and you're like, whoa, that number is a lot bigger than we've ever done, or that number, or we have more food vendors.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Or even things like the tent order, you know, or just how we find out where we are. You have
a good tent guy?
Yeah, we have a good tent guy.
You got to have a good tent guy for festivals.
Yeah, there was, I think there was something like 3/4 of a mile of tent.
Man,
for that festival,
that's good.
Yeah,
gotta get that mile though. Next 1 year you'll get that mile.
No, that's too much growth. You know, and growth is interesting. You need to. You usually end up stumbling a little bit when you grow something or you go through that year. And this year we had a little pushback from the vendors because I think they felt like there was too many options. And, you know, I'm trying to battle on the other side as I'm trying to worry about the festival goer.
And the line situation.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that you are going to spend this money. And a lot of food festivals have a similar problem, is that you go to a food festival or you go to a taste of something and you stand in line. And half of your experience of actually going to this is waiting for your food. And so... I don't particularly like that. I also don't like the idea of tastes because you wait 15 minutes to get a taste, then you get in another line to get another taste.
No, you want a meal.
Yeah.
You want a meal. What's a good ratio of how many vendors per... Or I guess it's the other way around because you're going to have more attendees per vendor.
Yeah, there's some solid math on it, and you know that I will not divulge because I think it's
proprietary.
Proprietary.
Off the record, sorry guys.
Equation. You have to balance it in two ways. So the reason why I brought up the vendor and the festival goer is that they both need to be happy. So it does me no good to just have a happy festival goer and a bunch of angry vendors.
Nope.
Because they won't come back next year, or they'll fight me on pricing or all the different things that make it up. And then the same thing goes on the other side. If the vendors end up waiting in line, that's not a good experience either. We had pretty close to the right balance. We had 10,000 people there.
Amazing.
And they're not by any means all vegan.
No, and it doesn't have to be. I mean, especially, look, it's summertime. Get that summertime bod, you know?
Well, definitely if you look at some of the food pictures, the bods aren't coming out.
You know, I remember back in college, one of my friends was a vegetarian, and we would go get sandwiches, and I would get like turkey and like vegetables, something like that. And I was like, oh, this person's so healthy, they're vegetarian. And they would get like a 9-slice cheese sandwich.
Totally.
And I went, oh, it's not same.
Right, no, it's not. It's vegan can definitely be a healthy lifestyle, but just like any food or any diet that you have, you could go the other direction. So,
and now, you know, with 10,000 people, I mean, you guys have definitely, you know, 9 years in, it's easy to be like, oh, a vegan festival, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 9 years ago, people were probably like, good luck with all that. But to see 10,000 people, I mean, I feel like you guys have really tapped into that cultural zeitgeist, like the whole, like, this is really what people are looking for these days.
Yeah, the success of Eat Drink Vegan comes from some hard work, but probably comes more from the meeting up where when we started was kind of the beginning of the vegan, not only the restaurants, but the community. And there is a very supportive community that will go to pop-ups, that will go to any type of vegan event. So, and that's not going to get us to 10,000 people, right? So there is this core, but that's also where, like, it's a beer festival, it's a kombucha festival, it's these other things, and then we're trying to make it the best food festival. You know, at some point we had to get away from, we're going to be the best vegan food festival.
Yeah. I mean, vegan is good for marketing, but at some point you got to know that anyone who shows up is going to have a good time. And I think when you look at things like Impossible Burger and what's going on with the whole, like, plant-based quote-unquote meat, and getting away from just tempeh or wheat gluten, things like that, you know you're going to get good food.
Yeah, the food, the level of food that we're doing, and we're able to invite Shake Shack. You know, so that's the other thing with the festival growth, is now we're able to go to a brand like Shake Shack and say, you know, well, do you guys have a veggie burger or a vegan burger? Oh, we can't tell you that right now, but the timing looks good. And so obviously, did you just tell me you're launching a vegan burger? I'm not really sure.
I just asked if you could show up, and you really answered with more information. I mean, part of the exciting thing about this is that you had like limited drops, which you're now seeing so much in, like, the fashion world, things like that, but exclusive only to this place and location, which is one thing if it's a t-shirt, which you could get and then wear for forever, but for something like food, you really make it like a must-go event. I know that Modern Times and Donut Friend did like a crazy vegan donut beer mashup, right?
Yeah, so that is one of the things across all of our Coachella or whatever festival we do, Arroyo Seco weekend. This idea of something exclusive in the food category has become very popular, and we were sitting around at Modern Times down the street, and we wanted to do some type of collaboration. They were open to it. There's a lot of legal things that it's not an Eat Drink Vegan collaboration, although
it did premiere.
It did, and it might have come out of someone's brain that was associated with Eat Drink Vegan. But I had a relationship with Mark from Donut Friend, and is one of the stars of what's happening in plant-based right now. I mean,
those donuts are incredible.
Yeah, they're just great donuts.
They're just great donuts. I mean, again, great marketing that they're vegan.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So it was, you know, friends with the vegan brewer over at Modern Times that happens to be vegan. It was like, I'm like, what's happening in beer? And so that's kind of where the conversation started. And it was this whole thing about pastry stouts. And then it was like, well, what if we did a donut? And then it was putting those two together. And then it was like, okay, well, we have donut beer now. What if we gave that beer back to the donut guy? And he made a beer donut from the donut beer. And I was sober, by the way. Then it was, well, what if we take that donut that he made from the donut beer and we gave it back to Modern Times because they have a restaurant, and they made a burger from it. So we had a donut beer that turned into a donut beer donut that turned into a donut beer donut burger. Yeah.
And what was the burger?
It was Beyond Meat.
You know, part of what I loved about this festival this year as well is that you also brought wellness into this. Because obviously, as we just mentioned, you can be vegan without being healthy, but essentially you went beyond the festival and you partnered with Seed Food and Wine.
Yes.
For those who are not familiar with them, who are they and what was the partnership?
Yeah, so they launched about 4 years ago, two ladies, Michelle and Allison, and they looked at South Beach Food and Wine and said, how can we replicate this really high-end culinary experience with the addition of wellness and mindfulness, and so they took that and they launched it about 4 years ago in Miami. I was able to go down there. It was how I see, they don't say the word vegan, they say plant-based, but it was how I see that whole thing. It was very modern. It was a very modern take on the vegan lifestyle. They had the biggest chefs down there. You walked into this beautiful restaurants and it was packed, and they had these great dinners that they put together, and then they had this grand tasting, and they had this run and this yoga, and it was just like, okay, I'm bringing together 10,000 people for one day. Is there more that I could be doing with this platform?
Right, more than just being like, hey, Instagram fodder.
Right.
Like, how do we extend this? Like, how do you take a seed from this festival and germinate it into your life?
Right, and so I saw that with what Seed was doing, Seed Food and Wine, and it was a South by Southwest style 2-day summit at the hotel where we had Moby speak and Kathy Freston and you know, some of the leaders in the kind of the cookbook space, and brought them and had them speak and do workshops. And then we had a grand tasting, we had an art and fashion show, we had a 5K run the morning of EDV. We actually work with this other company called Drunken Lotus that we're partners with, and they, as the festival opened, people walked in and there was 75 people doing yoga and wine tasting at the same time. So Drunken Lotus happens all the time. You get there, you go into a pose, you do your first couple things, and then you go into a resting pose, and you look up, and the sommelier takes over the microphone and is like, in front of you is
amazing.
And then you take a couple sips, you enjoy it, then you go back in, you do a couple flow things, and then you come back and you look up and there's another wine ready. So we're like pairing that experience together.
And it's fun because it shows like it doesn't have to be all like a separation or too serious, or where if you're going to have your health, you can't have your wine.
You can have it all.
You can have it all. So next year's 10 years.
Yes.
Assume it's coming back.
Yes.
How do you plan a 10-year anniversary?
My God, I don't know. Yeah.
I know you just wrapped. You're like 2 weeks out from the last one.
It's.
But have you? You know, do you have like one thing in your mind? Like, if we hit 10 years, I've been wanting to do this one thing.
No, it's funny. You don't. You just get to 10 years. I think we really look at this year and say what worked and what didn't, and I think there were a lot of things that did work, and I think we just add on to those and we put the number 10 on it. That's a big thing I've been working on, is just putting the number 10 there.
It's a great thing. 10 years is sort of unfuckable with. Like that is just like, hey, we've been here for 10 years.
Yeah. And there's a lot, that's what the vegan festival space has taken off. There is a vegan festival somewhere across the country every single day of
happening this weekend.
And good for them. Our focus is again not to be the biggest or the best vegan food festival. We're going for, this is the best food festival and food and drink festival that in the country, and it happens to be plant-based, and that's what I push to all my people that I work with. I push myself on it, and that's when we deliver an experiences that's like nothing else out there.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk about the second year of Arroyo Seco, which I am very, very excited about. Went last year and had an absolute blast. We have a song from the archives here on Snacky Tunes on heritageradionetwork.org.
Out of line, ooh, out of sorts, out of time, ooh, ooh, ooh. Private eye, oh, do you know where and why? Huh. Over the garden wall, I'm waiting in the second stall. I wanna see the boy alone. I wanna see the boy alone. History that you can roll on the fence and in the window cyclone. You look like that, your lens like the rest, but you look like that, your lens like the rest. Out of line, out of soul, out of time, so I'm told. Private eye, do you know where and why? Ooh, I've got to go. small. No harm in seeing it all before you're off on the road. They take a piece of me before you go. The history that you can roll on the fencing in the window cyclone. You look like that. You're just like the rest of them. Out of line, out of soul, out of time. So I'm told, private eye. Do you know where and why? Ooh, I've got to go. Oh, 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 ooh, 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 out of line, out of soul, out of time. So I'm told, private eye. Do you know where and why? Ooh, I've got to go. I've got to go. I've got to go. I've got to go. I've got to go.
Hello and welcome back to Snacky Tunes. We are sitting with Nick Adler, Festival Director at Golden Voice, and we are so excited to be talking about the return of Arroyo Seco. Went last year, went both days, saw Weezer do a awkward cover of Hey Ya
with their Guns N' Roses.
with their Guns N' Roses stuff. You know, their bands, I will forever love the band that they were in the 90s, and they still always get a pass, but that was tough as a big fan.
I no comment.
No.
I stayed away. I saw it from afar, and that's where I stayed.
I mean, I literally went that day just to go see that, and it came out, and I went, I've made a terrible mistake.
They looked like they were having fun, though.
Of course. So last year was a huge success. It didn't even feel like year one. It felt like it was super dialed in. Crazy about Tom Petty and Charles Bradley playing on the same day, and then their unfortunate passing this year. But that sort of talks to capturing a moment, capturing sort of a vibe of that happened. And it's the type of festival that you created where you could see that in one day, along with great food and great drink and everything like that. But sad. Sad and crazy.
Yeah, that was, obviously unexpected.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have felt any different, about both artists. I saw both shows, and they both were as special as they could have been. So if someone would have told me that you're not going to see these two artists, obviously I'd have some effect on me, but those shows were that for me. Like, that's how I wanted to see Tom Petty. That's how I wanted to see Charles Bradley. So for those to be my experience, it wouldn't have changed if someone told me you wouldn't see these people again.
I know. That was the last time for me for both of them, which was heartbreaking. But beyond that, year one, how did you feel a year later, looking down now to launch year two?
Yeah, so I think we had about 2 years that we worked on year one, and you work in a 2D environment.
Yeah. This looks great on paper, guys.
Yeah, so and that works for most festivals. Coachella is put on polo fields, very flat, rectangular surfaces. Warped Tours, other festivals, mostly you're dealing with some type of rectangle or something, and it's pretty flat.
You can see one corner to another corner.
So when you do something on a golf course, like we've done with Arroyo Seco, it's very interesting when you start putting things in place, and then you're like, that seems a little tighter than I thought it was on paper. That are you sure? Let's measure that again. Well, yeah, that's right. Oh, and then let's add some people that will interact with the space however they feel like it, right? And then you're like, well, I didn't think people were going to stand there.
Yeah.
Or, there's no way that somebody was going to put their blanket in front of the stage. I would never do that.
Yeah. It's a very blanket-heavy festival.
Yeah.
In a good way, because it's very family-based, and it's a little bit of an older crowd.
Yeah. And I, good or bad, I spent most of my time talking about how great it would be to bring your blanket with your kids sit under the tree. Although
with a picnic basket.
But what ended up happening was a bunch of those people went right to the main stage and decided to just line their blankets up, and then you see that and you're like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but of course when the headliner goes on, they're going to roll their blanket up. And
no, sir.
No, that didn't happen either.
No, there was definitely a lot of people sitting on blankets during Tom Petty, or their blankets. It was people in a sea of their own blanket.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to get closer, but it's 5 people and 5 blankets, which means I'm 60 feet back.
Yeah, it was again, you work in a 2D environment and you've never put people in the space. You learn really quick about some things, and so
do you have regulation blankets this year?
we definitely have no blankets beyond this point signs.
Interesting. Which is great.
Yeah, we don't want to tell people where they should go, because I think that it's important to have that feeling as you found your space. Because that's a good feeling where you're like, oh, look at that tree.
Yeah.
I got it. And then, okay, this is where we're going to be. Grab the food, let the kids run around.
Yeah, because, hey, we're at the tree with the V all day.
Yeah, and that's what it should
come
be.
Back.
And so we just made areas that you can't put your blanket.
Fair enough. Fair is fair.
And that was one of our, something that we needed to correct. It was stressful on people, and festivals should not be that.
Now, what were people's reactions from last year?
For the most part, they really enjoyed it. It was the kind of music they wanted to see. The food was the kind of food they wanted to eat. The pacing, and I talked about it a lot last year, and still think it's very important, that one of the big differences between this festival and a lot of other festivals is the pacing, meaning you can watch the whole set if you want to. You don't have to leave with 15 minutes because you need to. It takes 10 minutes to get to this stage, so you don't miss 15 minutes of that act. So there's a little more spacing between the acts. There's only 3 stages. Some of the music is passive, and I don't mean any disrespect to any artist that's playing, but it's as good 200 feet away on a blanket as it is for the person that's sweating and holding onto the barricade at the front of the stage.
Yeah.
We're trying to create an environment where you can festival as you wish, and we're not telling you that you have to see every act, or we're not telling you to see any acts at all. We're really just trying to create a place that you can find your own timing, and you're not forced into a certain way of moving around the site.
Now, in planning for this year, you have 2 lineups you're curating, both the food and the music.
Yeah.
The music curation this year is one of the most eclectic, between genres, decades, sort of vibes that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I think festivals are about discovery, and I think the difference with this festival might be this year with this lineup is rediscovery.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what we're doing at Arroyo Seco. It's part of like bringing your kid or bringing a group of friends and reconnecting. For me, when Violent Femmes goes on,
you took it out of my mouth. When it came out, I was like, oh my God, how did I forget about this band? Mm-hmm. And I put it on, and I was...
What? You just went back, right?
I went back CD player, little girl on the cover.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was there.
Mhm.
I'm so excited. We picked Sunday because, one, we could only get a babysitter for one day. But Alanis Morissette, Violent Femmes, Irma Thomas.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm sorry. Of all the bands you picked, that was the band.
Because there's just, again, rediscovery. I can't tell you the last time I heard an Alanis Morissette song. But when she goes on and hits you with 4 or 5 songs in a row, you're going to have so many emotions and so many throwbacks. And I think that's okay at this. It's okay at any show. But I think, again, there's discovery on this show, but there's probably more rediscovery.
Yeah, I mean, when Broken Social Scene played last year,
Mhm.
I had not seen them in quite a while, and I think the next week or so was a very deep dive into
Mhm.
them just on repeat. You know, it was great. And the lineup, both days, I mean, obviously if you can go both days, but each day offers the equal sort of mix of, you know, you have Neil Young as the headliner on Saturday, and with Belle and Sebastian and things like that, you know, and Jack White, which is
Mhm.
crazy,
Mhm.
you know, and Jeff Goldblum, which was an absolute trip last year.
Well,
if you've never seen him play, I recommend.
Well, you know, people, when we first booked him, it was like, let's not take ourselves too seriously that we can't book Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And then as we were booking this year, we were like, let's not take ourselves too seriously that we can't book him again.
I mean, he was amazing. It was packed.
Yes.
Also,
we actually made that tent bigger this year because of how packed it was for Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, listen, not that I have to say that you need to be at the start of any show,
Mhm.
but to get there and see his like pre-show, start of show banter,
Mhm.
you got to see it because he is just like.
Oh, he was doing. It truly was a show.
Oh, it was a show,
right? It wasn't like a band playing. It wasn't an artist playing. It was beginning to end, entertaining, very funny. He's one of the most charismatic people up on that stage. He owns you for that 45 minutes.
It's great. So the music is awesome. I mean, you could go there, not have a bite of food, which would be dumb, but you could go there just for the music alone. I think the lineup is equal to any of sort of, like you said before, at the Eat Drink Vegan, just a good music festival.
Yeah.
You know? But the great thing about this festival is you have incredible food. I definitely overate last year.
Mhm.
And felt good about it. Had a lot of beers to wash it down. And this year's lineup is no exception. How did you curate this year?
Yeah, I would love to take full credit for the music lineup, but I can take partial credit in both, but by no means full credit. I work with an amazing person on all of our festivals. Her name's Lizzie Stadler.
Shout out.
And she is in charge of the food and beverage on all the festivals besides Coachella and Stagecoach, which she works very closely on both of those with me, but she actually does all the curation for our other festivals. And we talk a lot of what should be on Arroyo Seco. And, you know, it is very much like Paul when he books his lineups for Coachella or whatever festival, Panorama or Arroyo Seco. What is the theme this year? What are we trying to say about our festival? Where you know, all the different things that you think of as a music lineup. And Lizzie and myself, we sit down and we do the same for our food lineup. And we want there to be discovery. You know, we almost look at it like that poster. Like, we got those headliners.
Sure.
There's no doubt that Friedman's and John and Vinny, you know, huge, you know, maybe Kalmar.
That's your Robert Plant.
Right.
That's your Alanis Morissette,
Of course, and then you get down and you get a little the brook with, you know, Playa. Although most people should have already been there, but
Yeah.
Playa Provisions.
But Brutus Los Palmas, which is way outside of LA.
And that's what Lizzie's, you know, she's going. I'm like, what? And she's like, no, like,
Dude, those burritos are no joke.
yes, that, you know, and the vegan is like, huh? And she's like, no.
No, but they have a vegan one that's the spiciest thing I've ever had.
Oh, well, I'm getting that.
It blew me. Like, I ate it when I was at Smorgasburg, and by the time I got home, I felt like either aliens, you know, or like that thing where there's a light popping out of yours.
I need that, but I don't probably need that on Saturday.
No, that's like a Sunday.
That's a Sunday.
When you know
I'm
that
out of here.
Yeah. And then, in addition to having a great curb, you're also doing sort of like these like limited drops here. Like Friedman's is doing that pastrami crunch wrap, which looks, I mean, obviously when I hear that, I'm like, I want to go to the festival so I can get that.
Right. Well, and I think we want to create that same excitement around food as you are for Violent Femme. So, you start pairing these things up, and before you know it, you have 3 or 4 must-haves, and that kind of shapes your timing of other things around the festival. One of the things that's new this year is we went and we got last year it was our festival librarian.
Yeah.
So with our book program,
which was great,
with Vromans, which is coming back. This year we got I don't really love the word mixologist, but I don't know what another word would be. But we got a festival mixologist with Jason Eisner over at Block Party.
Amazing.
And he's just so inventive how he goes about thinking and creating these cocktails. And we just felt like we needed just one person that was really focused on all the different things that are happening, all these different bars, and making sure that there were these cocktails that were memorable. And then Domain LA is coming back with the wine program again.
Which is awesome. Love Domain. Dangerous to go in there.
Oh, yeah.
Real dangerous.
Dangerous for your pocket.
Real dangerous. And it's good prices, but it's always like, oh, look, they have a bottle of Morgone.
One more.
Now, before we run out of time, we've talked about the food, we've talked about the music and the library, but the thing that's also crazy is that the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory is going to be there. What are they doing there? How did that happen?
So, Arroyo Seco, we try to take pieces of Pasadena because we want you to go to this festival. We want you to eat well. We want you to enjoy music. We want you to discover, experience, but we want you to leave with a little piece of Pasadena. Awesome. And so those embedded in all those different categories is something unique to Pasadena. And Rafi, our art director, is tasked with stay in Pasadena. Like, go find your art, go find those experiences within Pasadena. And he's like, I'm running out of ideas. And we're pushing back over there. And he came back, and JPL is such a big part of Pasadena. And he's like, I went to JPL. We're going to do something big. We're going to do huge. We're going to do a intergalactic travel agency. And I'm like, what? Like, and with Rafi, I've learned to
trust the process.
Yeah, that like if I say what that makes no sense, then he nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, so last year it was like, we're going to put this red tube that's going to run up the Arroyo, and people are going to look at it and be totally confused, and that's going to be awesome. And I'm like, okay. And it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. I don't know what it is, but everyone stopped and looked at it and talked about it. So with JPL this year, they have a huge activation on site. They're going to try to transport people from the Arroyo to Jupiter and Mars, and you're going to get on a spaceship and take off, and they're going to sell you on a hotel on Mars and what it's going to be like and what the atmosphere. And so we're using this concept of travel agency, how you go through a book and you're like, where am I going to go this summer? We did that same thing, or we didn't.
It's like
JPL.
Total Recall.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Total Recall. That comes to mind all the time when he talks to me about it. But it's okay to, one of the things we've been able to do with food at our festival is take you out of the festival for a minute.
Yeah.
And most people are like, why would you do that? That they're there to be at that festival. Well, there's something about being reintroduced to the festival when you're there. So you take a bite of something and it just takes you away. Or Violent Femmes goes on and they're playing Blister in the Sun and you left the festival for a second.
Yeah.
And you went back in time and then you open your eyes and you're like, oh, I'm right here with all my friends. So art can have that same effect on people, and that's what we hope to do.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited. If people want to go, where can they go to get tickets, more information?
ArroyoSecoWeekend.com. We have, all the social channels and tickets on sale. There's VIP, GA.
Picnics this year?
Yeah, so what we did with the picnic baskets that's different this year is they are available on site from the actual vendors.
Got it.
So instead of like coming to some booth, you don't know what it is. It's like, oh, John and Vinny, I'm going to get their picnic basket.
Got it. Which is great.
We thought that was, we're learning. One thing about festivals is you got to keep trying things that you haven't done before, and you end up finding that they work.
Awesome. Well, Nick, thank you so much for making time for us. We'll see you at the festival. We have a song from the archives on Snacky Tunes and then a live performance here on heritageradionetwork.org.
I'm Souther Teague of Amoria Margot and co-host of The Speakeasy on Heritage Radio Network. This episode is brought to you by the Sexton Single Malt Irish Whiskey, a new and unexpected modern malt for the everyman. The whiskey is made from 100% Irish malted barley, triple distilled for smoothness in copper pot stills, and consciously aged for 4 years in Oloroso sherry butts. My favorite part about the Sexton is that sherry influence from those Oloroso sherry butts. They're large sherry barrels that have been used, and then the whiskey gets aged in them for 4 years, giving them this sort of nutty, almost savory quality. The copper pot still makes for an extremely smooth finish. I like it in a highball or just neat. Every time I have a sip, I want another one. So next time you're gathered with friends or posted up at your favorite bar, reach for the Sexton, the best-selling Irish single malt in North America. You can learn more at thesexton.com.
Super excited. Have 3 super talented women in the house. Psychic Twin, welcome to Snacky Tune.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself? Say what you do.
I'm Erin. I sing the keys. Rosanna. I'm the drummer, playing the electronic drums here.
I'm Whitney. I play synth bass.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. It's a beautiful day outside, so It's a little bit nicer than yesterday's. Disgusting. I mean, New York during those days. So why don't you give us a little history about the band, the project, the love, the passion?
Well, I started Psychic Twin in Illinois, back in Illinois where I'm from, and moved out here alone, and kind of tried to keep it going with a couple dudes from back home for a little while. It was tough.
Yeah, what made it so tough?
Well, they were in Illinois, and I was living in Greenpoint.
And they're a bunch of dudes.
Bunch of dudes.
Bunch of dudes. Do you ever miss Illinois?
Do I miss Illinois?
Yeah.
I miss my family.
Yeah.
I kind of miss I used to ride horses and
Ooh.
like open spaces. Miss that a little bit, but I'm happy to be living in New York.
Yeah. I mean, you could... Yeah, they don't really like... People have a bug up their butt about riding horses in the city.
Yeah,
People-
that's a big thing right now with the carriages.
Just knock a cop off one of the mounted units.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. And then ride from like Central Park down to work and spot a pig. It just-
I should.
Yeah.
I should just gallop down to work and show up in
That
good
would
fashion.
that would definitely get on either.
At least you'll definitely get tased.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So you moved to... How long ago have you been in the city?
A year and a half.
How do you feel about being in the city? How do you feel like you've settled a little bit? Do you feel like... a lot of people say it's the 1 year mark. It takes you to sort of get into a routine.
I feel like it just happened for me in the last couple months.
Was there a defining moment?
I went to Toronto. And I went to Toronto and I was gone for the weekend and I started to feel homesick.
Ooh.
And I realized that when I was homesick, I was really, really missing Greenpoint.
Interesting. Where do you live in Greenpoint?
I live right by McGolrick Park.
Oh, I love that. Do you ever go to a heavy metal bar over there?
Matchless? You mean?
No, Matchless. I actually don't even know the name of it, but it's just like this like old Polish bar.
Oh, the Palace Cafe?
Corner, right next to like Bowler Park.
Yeah.
The Palace. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's great.
It looks like a Bavarian style. Like there's
Yeah.
Tudor.
Yeah. No, I love Greenpoint. Where do you? I mean, so many great restaurants that open up over there, like Achilles Heel, Alameda. things
Yeah,
like
I
that.
love Alameda. Actually, my tattoo is from a coaster from Alameda.
Wow.
It's kind of weird.
Did they give you a free burger after that?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
They were, I think, a little weirded out. My friend and I got matching tattoos.
That's wow. I mean, how much time do you spend at Alameda, or did you just saw that design and you loved it?
Just saw the design and we loved it. But we go there all the time. I love Alameda. River Sticks, I really like.
River Six is great.
Yeah. 5 Leaves, obviously.
Five Leaves.
Good special joint.
Super special. Yeah, Greenpoint really coming up.
I love
Tours,
Greenpoint.
things like that. Fantastic.
Yeah, tourist is awesome.
Do you cook a lot or do you eat a lot?
I do. I cook. I used to work in kitchens myself, actually.
Okay.
Worked on the line, all the stations.
Oh,
Got
Jamie,
a knife back.
You looking for a new line chef?
We're always looking for new cooks in New York. If anybody would like to come in for a stage, we're always accepting you.
I've heard that that's the most desired position in New York.
There are no line cooks in New York.
Everyone wants to be an executive chef, right?
I don't know. Just there's not a lot of line cooks. There's a lot of restaurants.
Yeah. Where did you cook?
It was in Champaign. It was in Champaign, back home.
Champaign,
Illinois. Yeah, it was a place called Luna.
Every time I hear Champagne, I just think of that band Braid.
Braid.
Yeah?
They're my friends.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god. I really, 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 really love Braid.
Big fan. Yeah, I saw American football last night.
Oh, you did?
Twice.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's just been Reunion City. Like, I went and saw Mineral
Oh, really?
a few weeks ago at Blood Brothers. Just...
You know who played last night?
Who?
VOD.
Really?
Yeah, that old Long Island terrible grungecore hardcore band.
Dude, White Octave played like 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is like this post-hardcore. Anyway. But how was American football? They hold up?
Oh, yeah, they killed it.
Yeah, they played like 4 shows, right?
Yeah, they have another one tonight. They did, I think, 3 at Webster Hall.
On a
and
level of
secret one.
1 to thinking about going, how close are you to thinking about going?
I'm going to go see Generationals.
Oh,
Those
wow.
guys there.
Oh,
Playing
yeah.
At Webster Hall. I mean, sorry, they're playing at Music Hall of Williamsburg.
I gotta say, New York, as of recent, has been killing it on the show front.
Yeah.
Who did I see this week? I saw Cloud Nothings this week, and
Oh, cool.
they were awesome.
I like them.
All right, enough about us name-dropping bands we went to. Let's hear us. God. Listen to us. Oh, you see this band? You see that band? You want to play a tune? You want to rock out a tune? What do you want to play for us?
We'll play one called Stay Right Beside You.
Okay, cool. Here is Psychic Twin live on Snacky Tunes. Thanks for listening. awesome. Very appropriate music for today.
Thank you.
Can I ask, in a totally, I will say this in a non-sexist way, do you find the difference, what is the difference between playing in a band of all rad chicks versus like a mixed sex group band?
Man, it's so much cooler.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
thought.
so much better having it all be women.
Yeah?
From my point of view.
Which is?
There's just less ego.
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm...
Or just more room for yours?
Oh. Ouch.
No, I joke. We kid because we love.
This is... I'm speaking generally here, but to be a female and to be like a leader and to be in charge of men is it's kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found a lot of times the men that I worked with would assume a lot of things that I didn't understand, that that I didn't know how to do. That I write everything, and most of the guys that I worked with, I don't want to be a bitch. It's just to be like,
fuck that.
You didn't write that bass line. Oh, you didn't write those drums, or somebody else, and I'd be like, no, man, like, no, I did that. And after
Where
a
did
while,
they think you found it?
I don't know.
You just
I
find it?
think that people assume when you're a female singer, that like some dude produced all your music and all your drums, and you just like sang over it, which is totally cool. I have no disrespect for people who function that way. I've done that. It's great, but it's kind of a bummer,
So let's talk about the latest EP, Two Visions. Killer
Thank
Killer
you.
EP.
Thank you.
What was the writing process there? Where did all those ideas come from? Or I'm sorry, my fault. Who wrote that music for you?
This dude.
This dude?
This dude I was sleeping with.
Sweet. That's really, yeah. All right, well, this has been Snacky Tunes, and thank you. No. So where did the visions come from for this?
The visions. Ooh. Honestly, I went through a divorce right before I moved to New York.
Gotcha.
And was maybe going to give up music in order to make my life function the way that it was.
Gotcha.
So I guess ultimately in my mind I was going through a real internal struggle as far as how to move forward, and I felt my life kind of splitting in half. So
Two Visions.
Yeah.
Obviously you didn't stop making music.
I didn't.
What was the turning point to keep you on the path of doing this awesome thing?
I started having panic attacks.
Okay.
And ultimately realized that I was probably seriously suppressing my need to kind of move forward with this choice and move away from what I had going before. So
Yeah, you can't keep this stuff inside.
I guess I couldn't. My body physically told me no. So
Was it one of those things where you were crying and then you started playing the keyboard and your tears just stopped?
they turned into rainbows.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should have known. That's it. That's actually in your bio.
Yeah.
I should have read that.
It's in the bio.
It's
The
in the
whole
bio.
rainbow tier thing.
So this new direction where you had this giant change and things like that, did you find that it really changed the songs you wrote, or let you go deeper, or is it just a fuller version of what you've already done?
It got darker. It definitely got a little darker.
What's it like writing some dark songs?
Sad, man.
Yeah, but do you feel happier at the end?
No.
Really?
Yes.
So then you write a sad song because you were sad.
Yeah.
And then you still feel sad, and then you play these sad songs. Do you feel happier after you play the sad songs?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I get happiness out of it, but I feel like maybe I understand myself a little bit better.
So you're going through a few things right now.
Going through some stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's cool.
You're in New York.
It's okay.
This is arguably, I know people, this is probably one of the best times of the year, and then the energy of the city as we march towards the holiday season. It's a blast. I mean, you were going to Spot a Pig, you're going to see probably getting a lot of nice tips.
A lot of nice tips.
People really start going from 20 to 25% during the holiday season. It's
One
nice.
would hope. It's a good place to work. It's really intense, but it's good.
That burger.
That burger.
Have you ever served Queen Bey and Jay-Z?
I haven't. Kardashian, though.
Okay.
And Kanye.
Okay.
Yeah, they were all right.
That's all right.
Mhm.
Was he a good tipper? Did he tip well?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. We can ask you the real answer off the air.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. Man, Kanye.
Kanye.
Well, I'll put it this way, he didn't get rich by tipping people.
No.
Yeah. Let's hear another jam.
Okay.
What are you going to play for us?
Maybe Running in the Dark? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We'll do Running in the Dark.
Psychic Twin, here we go again live on Snacky Tunes. Sweet. Super sweet. Super fun. Was that a depressing song? Because it sounded very happy.
It's a sad one, yeah.
Okay.
Lyrically,
it's sad, but the beat's upbeat.
yeah. I like to dance.
Yeah.
I like to dance a lot.
Sometimes when I'm sad, the only thing that makes me happy will be dancing.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah?
I like to kind of weirdly dance around.
I mean, do you just like peel out from Spotted Pig, go hit Meepa? You know, just
go to Output.
Go to Output. Oh man.
Just feel it.
Just feel it. Just feel the vibe. Feel the vibe till the sunrise comes up, right?
I've done that before.
I mean.
Have you?
Yes. I can't even lie. My reputation precedes me, but yes, I've seen one or two sunrises in my life.
Just one or two.
I get up that early too.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I play squash in the morning, and so during the winter I see a lot of sunrises. It's very different getting up than instead of staying up.
Staying up, yeah. Different feeling. I stay up late all the time because the pig is open till 4 in the fucking morning. So.
Oh yeah. What about that mix of you're up, and people are getting up on their way to work, and that crossover?
Yeah.
I always feel like they look at me and like they know that I've been like a bad person.
Yeah, they're like, what have you been up to?
I've been a total scumbag.
Yeah, but we look at them and go, I know you don't have any fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, actually, so when I used to do production work, every once in a while I would be getting up early, and my favorite thing would be to see like guys like on the street corner trying to close deals with girls at like 5 in,
yeah.
and just as suave as he thought he was in his mind at the time, like it's just such a sloppy like,
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna. Well,
maybe sometimes though. Actually.
Hey man.
If they're both on the same place.
Yeah.
They're on the same place.
We need one yes.
You just
take
need one
99
yes.
no's, you know.
That 99 times.
So, what's up? What's coming up for you? Are you hitting the road? Writing more music? What are you doing?
Well, the partnership between Rosanna and Whitney and I is it's pretty new. It's still developing. So right now we're kind of just, I feel like we're falling for each other.
Yeah?
Right now.
Are you falling in love?
Falling in love. Yeah, really. We're falling in love with each other right now. Spending a lot of time together. We just had our first show together at Cameo Gallery.
First off, shout out to Jiffy and Evan. Those guys are
Jiffy
the
and
best.
Evan, yeah, those guys are so awesome.
How was the show?
It was fantastic.
How awesome is that paper installation?
Oh, I love it.
Well, technically it's not paper, but I will forever call it paper.
It's so cool. It's so cool. The sound is good. It looks good in there.
They've done such an amazing job. It used to be very less than stellar.
Really?
And now it's an amazing
It might be my favorite place.
Yeah, it's so
honestly.
intimate, and
I
it
love
sounds
it.
good, and it's right in the hood.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love playing there. We have a bunch of shows coming up. We have some shows for CMJ.
Oh,
We're
CMJ.
Opening for Sylvanesso in Philly.
Ooh, where are you
playing in
playing
Boston. Union Transfer.
Shout out to Sean Agnew.
Yeah, Sean Agnew.
R5 Productions.
Yeah, we're playing in Boston, and we're just kind of trying to go nuts. We really want to go on tour and just.
Do you come back from Boston to New York right after you play?
This will be our first time. I think we're gonna stay. Right?
Okay.
We're gonna stay.
Rosanna and I went to college in Boston, so we have lots of friends
Oh.
there.
Yeah, they both went to Berkeley School of Music.
Oh, I went to BU.
Oh, cool.
Are you fans of Anna Sakuria?
Back in the day, yes. Many a drunk time at
Yeah. I remember El Pelon.
El Pelon is way better.
Remember it had that crazy fire, and then it burnt down. I remember stumbling upon El Pelon walking near the Fenway and being like, "What is this magic?" I think that's what El Pelon means. It's the magic.
It actually means the bald person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you were close.
Oh, close. The close. I was super.
What is this magic? That's the
It's so good.
also.
It blows my mind. That's the only thing that Boston has over New York. Is its burrito game, Mexican game.
I don't know. Danny brought it at lunch at Mission Cantina.
Yeah, but you can get a burrito in New York for half the price. I mean, in Boston for half the price. The Cantina burrito is a pricey burrito.
I can't argue about that.
No, you can't argue with that. It's
I
great.
I just don't remember the price. So I
It's
don't want
great.
it wrong.
It's great. It's a fantastic
But
one.
it's worth it.
I heard that there's this mission style called Brooklyn Burro, which is like at this pop up at Don Pedro's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's supposed to be legit.
I've had a Don Pedro's. A couple of those.
Yeah.
Very good.
Do you ever cook together? Do you ever get together and do a little inspirato cooking?
We have once before. We need to.
It's coming. It's
Aaron and I only live a block away from each other, so it's coming.
gonna happen.
How did
We've
you-
drank together.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. How'd you three meet? How'd you all?
Do we
What
tell
version do you want?
Do we tell the?
Tell the least clean version you have.
Okay. Well, it's not so dirty. It's just a little dark. That's all.
I was in a band with my boyfriend at the time. The band was Empty Chairs.
Oh yeah.
And Aaron lived with Peter, the Empty Chairs member. But he recently passed away 3 months yesterday, actually.
Sorry.
And So after he passed, we kind of all just grouped together, and Aaron asked me if I wanted to be in the band. And Rosanna's been my best friend for 11 years, so it all kind of just like
That's a package deal.
worked out.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Peter was playing bass with me before.
Yeah, so I kind of took over his parts.
Really, really, a really special thing that happened from something that's been pretty tough for everybody.
There's a silver lining for everything.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, that's great that you two have found each other and making music.
Yeah.
That sounds happy, but is also sad. Which is a tough balance.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. Well, listen, I want to make sure that we have enough time for one more song, but where can people find your music?
You can find it on Spotify.
Beautiful.
You can find it on iTunes.
Nice.
We released a 7-inch on polyvinyl.
Shout out to Polyvinyl.
Yeah, I love
Brave.
polyvinyl. Yeah, Brave.
Yeah.
And hopefully
Label mates.
more future stuff coming. Lots of music ahead.
Maybe you can put out a 3-way split with them in Aloha.
I could talk to those guys about that.
Hey guys, listen.
I'm gonna get you some autographs.
I mean, look, if you can get me like an autographed xylophone key, I'm not gonna be mad at that.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do.
And then Instagram is Psychic Twin.
Yeah, Instagram.
How's your Instagram game?
Oh, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I try to keep it really focused on music.
Okay.
I went a little off for a while, and then I like had this deleting spree where I was like, why the fuck is my personal life on here? So I got rid of that stuff and just, I don't know. I try to post a lot of music-related stuff.
Yeah.
And drunk moments on occasion.
And those sometimes are one and the same, right?
Yes. A lot. For me, unfortunately.
Awesome. Okay, well, people in New York should check him out during CMJ.
Yeah.
Which is still fun. CMJ?
Sorta.
Yeah.
It's still happening.
It's CMJ still happening.
Yeah. It's like South by. Still happening.
South by is, I mean, even though that's its own thing, it's CMJ's, I mean, CMJ is, it's like a slowly sinking ship.
Yeah, they're two different beasts, but, you know.
Well,
South by is amazing.
yeah, and I want to thank Jamie for coming by, and thank you for the salami.
Thank you.
And check out his restaurants in New York and Boston. And then we are off next week because it's New York Food and Wine. We'll be DJing at Dale Talbley's Dim Sum Party at Budokan on Sunday, which is always super fun. And then if you are around tonight, please come by Craig Murphy's 8th annual memorial fundraiser. We'll be raising a lot of money and having some drinks and remembering our friend who was always laughing and sleeping on our couch. He was the best. So what's the last song you're going to take us out with?
It's called Strangers.
Okay, well, thanks so much. We'll see you in a few weeks. Shout out to everybody. And happy 65th birthday to my dad, which was this past Friday.
Aw.
Yeah. They just
Happy
went to they just went to New Orleans and just ate their faces off.
My parents are in New Orleans right now.
We have a lot in
They're
common.
celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Kinda weird.
a beautiful city to do it in.
Yeah, they're having fun.
Just hang out, fall in love, and look at some Spanish moss.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks again. We'll see you real soon.
Stranger
We talk about food, we talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. For our freshest content and to hear about exclusive events, subscribe to our newsletter. Enter your email at the bottom of our website, heritageradionetwork.org. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at heritage_radio. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization driving conversations to make the world a better, fairer, more delicious place. And we couldn't do it without support from listeners like you. Want to be a part of the food world's most innovative community? Rate the shows you like, tell your friends, and please join our community by becoming a member. Just click on the beating heart at the top right of our homepage. Thanks for listening.